Hi there. As we say goodbye to 2024 and welcome in 2025, a lot of people seem to be doing kind of a year in review of Harry and Megsy's activities. Now, if you ask me, the best one was the Royal Grifts. I mean, the thing she reminded me, it's hard to even believe that all those things happened this year. I mean, it seems like it's been quite the year, which it has. But in that spirit, apparently Harry and Meghan presented their own version with Archewell, which I assume it's their, year in review summary as a impact statement sort of thing. But here is what they believe are the important highlights of the things that they have done this year. There's sound to this, but it was just music, so I did cut that out just so that it wouldn't have any copyright concerns. There are a few things from that ridiculous montage that I wanted to point out. The first being how this woman had the gall to put in Uvalde when she was so completely criticized for exploiting a tragedy involving children. I'm actually stunned that she would have the guts to do that. But she did it because it is completely without shame. Now, this woman is the one that during Meghan's South by Southwest censorship campaign, she is the one that was given the award or a grant for her work with algorithmic justice. Yes, that is what her study is about. She's got a master's. I believe she's going for a PhD. And she got a grant for doing a study on how to achieve algorithmic justice. I'm surprised more people didn't take note of that grant, because I, for one, was terrified by just the phrase algorithmic justice. The last people on this planet that should be looking to create any sort of algorithmic justice would be Harry and Meghan, who do nothing but manipulate the algorithms. I bet if you asked Meghan today what this event was or what it was intending to shed some light on or what was the cause she was fighting for, she would have no idea, because the only reason that she had this photo taken and the only reason that it's in her year-end summary is because she has there 3 women with the traditional headscarves. Otherwise, Meghan would not care. This is about her pretending to believe in diversity and inclusion and whatever the heck else it is that she claims she believes in. But the only point of this was a photo op. And that's why it's in her little montage. And these last 2 images, I mean, they're just so fake and so phony. And this idea that Meghan can put that sad, thoughtful, understanding face on, and suddenly that's supposed to wipe away everything we know about her. It just shows how naive she is, truly, about the effect she has on people. Nobody is going to take a look at this photo and suddenly think that this is a woman with a heart or a soul, because I firmly believe she has neither. To some other news. So we have here Rebecca English saying that Scooby-Doo is to blame for the book Endgame having derailed any attempt that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had for entering into a new era. Now, the problem is that the way this is, I know how Rebecca English said it. She said, yeah, things started going downhill essentially when that happened, and that, took away any potential for Harry and Meghan to change the narrative. Problem is, though, that Meghan is now able to take that quote and that idea and that concept and turn it around and make it sound as though, she had great plans and great intentions, and all because of Scooby-Doo, they went out the window. Because of him. It's his fault. All his fault. Scooby-Doo's bombshell royal book Endgame scuppered Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's plans to move on with their lives, according to one of the world's top royal experts. Again, making it seem as though they were ready to move on. Except, hey, you were the ones that endorsed this Endgame book, or allowed this Endgame book to happen in the first place, which was because you weren't willing to move on. It's really just another example of Meghan finding a scapegoat. Scooby-Doo's expose about the royal family derailed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's plans to leave the firm behind and enter a new era, a top royal insider claimed in a resurfaced interview. Endgame by Scooby-Doo was released in November 2023 and focuses on the evolution of the monarchy since the Duke and Duchess of Sussex quit royal life in 2020, because they have such an impact that they are able to affect the evolution of the monarchy by not being a part of it. Please be reasonable. In his biography, Mr. Scooby-Doo supports Harry and Meghan while criticizing popular royals such as Princess Catherine. Well, first of all, it wasn't a biography. It was a book about the monarchy. That's not a biography. A biography is about a person. A biography studies someone's life. By definition, this being about a bunch of people, it's not a biography. I guess, like always, why let the facts get you down? He reignited tensions from the Sussexes' interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021, which claimed a member of the royal family asked Meghan about her baby's skin color. Yeah, but the problem is it wasn't Scooby-Doo that it reignited that. It was Meghan, because she gave him the information. Well, the book does not name names. Well, sort of. Scooby-Doo said in interviews that letters between the Duchess and King Charles revealed 2 firm members were involved in the scandal. He also said the king led an institution plagued by institutes involving antiquated ideas around race, class, and money. Daily Mail royal editor Rebecca English said Endgame surfaced issues about the royal family which Harry and Meghan would prefer to be resolved. Then why did she tell him about it and bring it up? It raised uncomfortable situations that the family were really hopeful of trying to bury, and I include Harry and Meghan in that, she told Mail's program Palace Confidential late last year in an interview that is now being reported on again. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder who's resurfacing it. My guess is that it's Meghan. As I said, it gives her the scapegoat of Scooby-Doo. Remember, after the whole furor around Spare, and before that the Netflix documentary, and all of the interviews, one member of their team briefing very grandly that this was the end of their look-back projects. Part of me thought, who gives you the right to say this is our program of look-back projects? Ms. English said, it comes as Harry and Meghan were entering this new era, forging individual careers away from the royal family and apparently away from each other. And they haven't done any royal family related projects, so I get the impression they were really hoping to start to move forward slightly naively, I think she said. Yeah, except instead of being connected in projects to the royal family and dishing dirt on them, instead they went off and did these faux royal tours, which to me was almost worse. Before Endgame was published, Harry and Meghan made several allegations about the royal family through their Netflix docuseries and the Duke's memoir, and they just couldn't stop. Or, I mean, even if, let's pretend Meghan had nothing to do with it, Meghan created an environment where Scooby-Doo could get rich by continuing on the same path. Granted, he screwed it up and he did it poorly, and so it backfired on him, and instead it destroyed him. But the idea was there. Was that what he was going to do? He was going to dish more dirt, and he thought he would make a killing off of it. He didn't. Projects formed part of Sussex's 5-year, $100 million deal with Netflix and another 4-year one with publisher Penguin Random House. However, well, wait a minute. How does... Oh, I guess Spare? She's saying Spare was a part of Penguin Random House? Because I don't think Endgame had anything to do with their deal. I mean, not to say that that wasn't a part of their overall scheme, but it wouldn't have been a part of getting Meghan and Harry any money. However, Harry and Meghan have recently completed increasingly solo engagements, marking a step away from slamming the monarchy for a massive payday. Harry recently undertook a media tour in Canada to promote the winter edition of his Invictus Games, which will take place in Vancouver in February. Meanwhile, Meghan stayed in California with her 2 children, Prince Archie 5 and Princess Lily 3. Now, the interesting thing I've been hearing, I don't know if it's true, but that Meghan is not welcoming Canada for the Invictus Games. So you've got Australia doesn't want her, the UK doesn't want her, Canada doesn't want her. My guess is Nigeria and Colombia no longer would want anything to do with her. I mean, it's pretty impressive that in a 6-year span, she's gotten 5 countries to say, please don't ever come back. I mean, that's impressive right there. But of all the articles that I've been seeing and hearing lately, the one that really interested me the most was this one. And this is Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's professional separation, the calm before the storm. And this is an analysis by Svar Nanan Sen. He is with GB News. I don't know who he is or what makes him an expert, but it illustrates the definite shift that is happening among the media. We have said for a while now that, you know, Harry and Meghan were the golden goose, that the news media was never going to kind of call them out because she is the golden goose. Reporting on what she does and what she says and what she's up to, it lines their pockets. But as Harry and Meghan are stepping back and they're not creating news to be reported on, it seems as though the news media has said, oh, well, you know what? If you're not going to give us what we want out of you, which is revenue, then we may as well start blowing your cover. And I kind of get the sense that that is what's going on. Could be wrong. And because about, 3 or 4 months ago, it was H.G. Tudor that very rightly said, as long as Harry and Meghan are making money for news media outlets, they have no reason to reveal them. But that's what I think is starting to change now. Now, a perfect example of this lack of news from, for the media to cover is the fact that this fake photo of fake children has become a news story. I mean, I don't know who put this photo out. I've traced it as far back as Pdina. I don't know if she got it from somewhere, if she made it. Either way, I mean, I think it's hysterical. But, so no blame to her if she's the one who did it. Props to her if she did. But it doesn't seem that anyone seems able to actually acknowledge who put this out or who created it. But it's universally acknowledged that it was created. And that, to me, is very interesting. But the lack of news about where Harry and Meghan were for Christmas, it seems to be an example of how Harry and Meghan are no longer providing that fuel for the media to keep making money off of them. So the media is like, the golden goose, you cut your own head off, so we're going to go ahead and finish the job.
Now, over in the US, do we know what the Sussexes did for Christmas?
Well, very quietly, because this is the 6th year that they didn't attend Christmas at Sandringham with the rest of the royal family. Of course, there have been a few moving chess pieces with the Duke of York having to pull out with his involvement in with a relationship with an alleged Chinese spy as well. So he was spending it separately. And the Sussexes were spending it separately in California as well. I mean, there may have been some exchanges with video calls with the grandparents. But I think that tells you an awful lot about the way the Sussexes have had to sort of take themselves out of the limelight in recent months. Certainly Harry and Meghan have been going in very, very different directions. Their relationships with the royal family is still incredibly strained. And I think that when the king is certainly speaking about unity and togetherness for not only his own family, but communities, perhaps, Harry and Meghan should be listening to that call, because the sense of togetherness within the royal family doesn't include them at this current time.
Which is such a shame. And look, I hope for 2025, if there can be movement on something, I would really like there to be movement on that. One other thing, though, on Prince Harry, and interesting allegations out of BetterUp, the organisation where Prince Harry is the Chief Impact Officer. Apparently there's some issues, some cultural issues, some allegations that have been made. What do we know?
Well, I think certainly that's putting it mildly. These are huge, huge allegations at the centre of BetterUp. And Prince Harry was given the sort of lofty title of Chief Impact Officer in 2021. It's sort of a business coaching psychology company, one of the big, big success stories of Silicon Valley over the last few years. It was valued between 5 and 10 billion Aussie dollars. This huge, huge company that has got off to a great start, got Prince Harry involved after he used one of the services coming when he went over to the States. But it's been described as a toxic train wreck. It's been described as uncomfortable for the staff that work there. And these are comments that have been left anonymously by past and present members of staff on the website Glassdoor, which is encouraging openness of companies in the United States. And I think this sort of damaging allegations that are at the centre of BetterUp won't just damage the company, but certainly Harry's association with it, because he had lauded this company, saying it was one of the 6 big success stories of the past few years, certainly Silicon Valley and beyond. So what will Harry's involvement be with it in the future? Very, very interesting to watch this space, I think.
Absolutely. Russell, thank you for joining us, and thank you so much for joining us all year. Really appreciate it.
It definitely does seem to be turning. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex executed 2 clear strategies in 2024. Oh, did they now? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have had a much quieter 12 months than last year, if you say so, because I would say it was not at all quieter. It was actually noisier. The Duke of Sussex kicked off 2023 by releasing his autobiography, Spare, which gave unprecedented insight into his life and his relationships with senior members of the royal family. Yeah, you could say that. I wouldn't say that, but okay, it gave an interesting tale that Meghan wanted to tell. In my opinion, do your own research, form your own conclusions. It was controversial, to say the least, and was a turning point in his fractured relationship with Prince William. No, it was the ending of his fractured relationship with his brother. Others have not properly spoken since its release in January 2023, with Princess Catherine also having little contact with the Duke of Sussex. Now again, we don't really know that, but yeah, I would bet that's true. But even still, it is a presumption. The presumption is that if they did talk, we would know about it. Why would we? I mean, why would we be told? We are assuming that they have no contact. Doesn't mean that it's true. However, this year, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle looked to distance themselves from their links to the royal family. The couple hardly mentioned the monarchy and instead opted to pursue careers that center around themselves as individuals. The Duke and the Duchess of Sussex executed 2 clear strategies in 2024. And what's interesting, this article is probably one of the first in a long time where it really did emphasize the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. We haven't been hearing them referred to by their titles as much as we had in the past. Whereas in the past, it would always be mentioned. Now, it's almost rare if it is mentioned. The first was to replicate royal family tours in all but name. The couple undertook international visits to Nigeria and Colombia together, carrying out multiple engagements across several days. And interestingly, if you remember, in Nigeria, there were a lot of engagements that Harry went on without Meghan. When it came to Colombia, they were pretty much together for all of the engagements. I wonder if that means something. I kind of feel as though it does. I believe that in Nigeria, Meghan felt she still had the clout to do individual engagements, but I think by the time they went to Colombia, she realized she was nothing without him, and she resented that. The tours were successful, if you say so, and helped spread awareness on important issues. But notice they really don't list those issues because they really don't know, because that was such a backseat to Meghan just having attention. I mean, yes, we do realize that in Colombia, the purpose was basically censorship and online, safety for kids online, kids who don't have access online. Let's make sure they're safe online. Ridiculous. But there really was no clear message in her Nigeria trip other than, oh, I'm coming home. Important issues with engagements linking to the Duke of Sussex's Invictus Games. Yeah, because they needed an excuse to be there. And that was it. Away from the international visits, the Sussexes opted for a professional separation, where they have focused on building their individual brands in the U.S. rather than pursuing power couple status, because they failed as a power couple. They aren't a power couple. They can't build a status that doesn't exist. Harry and Meghan have taken solo engagements across New York and California in recent months. Yeah. Meghan shows up somewhere and gets paid to do so. Harry is at least doing something useful. I mean, he went to Canada for Invictus. He went to New York to do the Parent Network or whatever. What the hell is she doing? She's showing up at events just to be seen on the red carpet. In 2024, Prince Harry returned to the UK several times without Meghan, but met with his father, King Charles, just once during his first visit to London in February. Interesting. Since then, Harry has not met with the monarch that we know of, or any senior member of the royal family that we know of, with just his mother's side of the family choosing to attend a 10-year anniversary event of the Invictus Games at St. Paul's Cathedral in May. That we know of. I'm going to interrupt this article for a second to mention something, because I find it very interesting that they're talking about the Spencer family, because in fact, Ingrid Seward has been reporting that the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex enjoyed the holiday with Archie and Lily at their home in Montecito, because the couple made the choice to stay home after declining an invitation to celebrate Christmas at Althorpe House, the estate owned by the late Princess Diana's younger brother, Charles Earl Spencer. The reason, she claims, Harry and Meghan were invited for Christmas at Althorpe with thrice married Uncle Charles, now Earl Spencer, but have decided to stay in California, because Meghan says it's important for her that Archie and Lily can have connective memories of Thanksgiving and Christmas at home and enjoy the traditions like putting out carrots for the reindeer. Well, isn't that interesting? Considering 5-year-old Archie doesn't even believe in Santa anymore. So why on earth is he putting out carrots for him? But the idea that they need to have connective memories is the reason you would decline an invitation to spend time with your family. I mean, it's ludicrous. And I do assume from this that Harry did possibly spend Christmas with his Uncle Charles. But back to this ridiculous article. The Duke of Sussex appeared in ITV's Tabloids on Trial program in the summer, and during his interview, he ruled out returning to the UK with Meghan and the children while his security provision remains at its current level. Oh, boo-hoo, Harry. But the fact that right there, that this picture to me says so much. This is an example of Meghan's complete disregard and disrespect for everything, because this was during the playing of God Save the King in Nigeria. Prince William and Prince Harry were in the same room during their uncle's funeral several months ago, but did not speak to each other, according to eyewitnesses. Part of the royal family's reluctance to engage with the Duke of Sussex may be his upcoming trial against News Group newspapers, which will kick off in January 2025. Harry is set to appear in the witness box and will be cross-examined by NGN's lawyers during an appearance in London. I do not think that will happen. I do not think the royal family will allow Harry to be in the witness box, because once he's there, he needs to tell the truth, and there would be a definite fear of what he might be forced to reveal. Members of the monarchy will be hoping Harry does not drag them into the court case during his evidence in the High Court. But the problem is if he goes into the witness box, they can't control what he is asked and what he therefore has to respond to truthfully. Upcoming appeal against a High Court ruling which dismissed his challenge against the decision to downgrade his security will be another case King Charles, in particular, will be wary of Prince Harry mentioning the royal family. Just weeks after Harry's High Court appearance, which is scheduled for January 2025, the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex are expected to attend the first ever Winter Invictus Games in Canada. I do wonder if she'll go. I can't imagine she will. The event will give a clear indication of how far the couple's professional separation is set to go, with Meghan previously attending the Invictus Games in the Netherlands and Germany with Harry. Despite a relatively quiet 2024, Prince Harry is set for a very busy start to 2025. Whether Meghan opts to accompany him in the UK and Canada is yet to be seen. So, all of this put together, plus the recent events, my prediction is that the storm that we're about to see is a full-scale media saying, hey, you're not doing for us anymore, and so we have no reason not to reveal who you are. I mean, that's the only payout left. And Meghan and Harry have put things in such a way and created such a situation that if they're not providing that income for the media and the tabloids have lost any incentive to protect them and keep their game going. And I think we're going to see revelation after revelation. That is the storm that's coming. And my only fear, and this is a very serious fear that I have, is I do not think the royal family is going to ever address the royal children, the Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet situation. I don't think that they are going to ever hold themselves or Harry and Meghan accountable for the fraud they perpetrated if there are in fact not two children that Meghan gave birth to that have been put in the line of succession fraudulently. And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I do hope that the people of the UK do hold them accountable for all of that. I mean, really, I can't do it. I can't hold I have no pull or no sway to hold the royal family of the United Kingdom accountable for what has happened, but the people in the UK certainly do. And they ought to, and I hope that they do. But do let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a great day filled with love, laughter, and of course, a lot of dancing.
Dancing in the rain.